With that being said, I'd like to open up for our first panel of the day. This panel is talking about Scholastic Esports and how it can not only enhance how our kids engage in school, but how it differs from traditional sports and traditional clubs. So please help me welcome our moderator, Vinia McBean, Sergio Bra, Taryn Morgan, and last but not least, Daniel Rook.
Good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you? All right, let's wake up. I say games for good. You say games for. I say games for. You say good. All right, there we go. This morning, let's get some energy in the room. We are going to talk about Scholastic Esports. Show of hands. Who here has been out to an elementary, middle school, or high school event? When you went, how did you feel when you left? Good? Energized. Why? Right. And young people have what? Energy, ideas. You hear professionals take that what? Energy, their ideas. You work with fitness. Young people tend to be fit. You have a key opportunity, and this is what we're going to draw on. Young people who love to learn, and gaming can help provide them opportunities to use their energy and their talents. So let's start off with a few questions towards the K through 12 sector. We have with us here Danielle. Danielle, hi. Hi. Would you mind sharing with us what you think a successful K through 12 scholastic experience, what's a hallmark of a successful experience?
Smiles. Like, I think that's the first thing is making sure that they're smiling because it should be fun. And that's why most kids get into gaming and esports is because they have fun with it, they enjoy it. Then also making sure that they feel safe, making sure they feel welcomed, making sure that they feel like they belong there. And that's what so many of those kids have been missing is they weren't band kids, they weren't football players, they weren't theater kids, but they game, they love it, they play it at home, maybe they play it with friends outside of school. So making sure that they feel like they're having fun, that they feel safe, that they feel like they're included,
Mm.
and then, bonus if you can fit some of the CTE learning in there or some of the soft skills or even technical skills.
Wonderful. So, if kids feel engaged, do grades go, how do grades go? If you feel engaged, up, okay? What happens if you're already a straight A student? Straight A student involved in esports. What do you get? Now I'm gonna go here to our collegiate folks. What happens for you, Sergio, when you get someone was a straight A student, you meet them, they're in high school, what do they end up doing? Straight A student in high school.
I think for me, typically the students that are already engaged in esports in some capacity, but also are already doing well in school, typically we move on to that next step, right, which is career development. What do you want to do after you finish your time at UMD or at Morgan State? And making sure that we're putting them in the right positions to do so, right? Taking them to external events like this and letting them work and letting the students be at the forefront, letting them gain valuable experiences and things that they want to gain experience. And within our program, that's one of our pillars, is letting our students create, right? Whether that be through photography, videography, um, um, video editing, casting, observing, all these different things that, when they came into our program, they might not have even thought was a possibility for them to do full time, let alone part time while they're doing school. But empowering them to do so and empowering them to step out of their comfort zones. So these students that are coming in with straight A's and things of that nature are going to be your program powerhouses. They're going to be your leaders, the people that bring the longevity to your programs, because I promise you, I'm not the one bringing longevity to UMD Esports, right? It's the students that we work with every day. So really taking those students that are coming in with these really good grades and empowering them and letting them know that they have an opportunity to do different things within this space that they might be interested in.
So we've taken people good to great, right? But we're here to focus on K through 12 and how we make an impact there. What happens when you have the C student, high school, just about, let's say ninth, 10th grade? It gets difficult. Was it hard for anybody here in ninth, 10th grade? A little awkward? Trying to find your way, find your fit? C student, what do you think makes them successful, or how can esports scholastically help someone? C student, 10th grade, awkward stage. I see a former student here. What do you think if you were a C student, 10th grade, a little awkward? What could help you? Okay, okay, okay. hmm Awesome. So, 10th grader, we're helping them make connections, helping them make friends. But you're an adult, you're a teacher. How do we tackle that scholastically? What do you look for in a classroom? What? hmm Teamwork. Are you looking for people who are good at teamwork or need help with being part of a team? Yeah, exactly. That is the right answer. Both. We need to pair them up. The student who's the good to great, the student who is average. Do they have a commonality? When they work as a team, is there something scholastically we can do that helps people develop teamwork skills? Now, anybody here that's worked as a teacher kind of knows. You're in the academic sector. What happens when you need to bring together a team academically? What do you do?
So for me, it's really two parts to it. The community piece, so definitely, that's crucial. It allows for students to find their place,
Mhm.
their tribe. In fact, I've had the top D1 athletes become friends with the less athletically inclined students and are able to build that community, which in turns builds the self-confidence, self-esteem, and it helps them to perform in other areas as well. So second piece of it also is the holistic development piece.
Okay.
Really gaining helping them to understand to their emotional intelligence. So gaining, understanding of themselves, how their feelings show up in the world,
Mhm.
how to identify their own feelings, how to read the room.
Yeah.
So these are crucial skills there, definitely with that piece. And part of it also, one thing I work on is helping students to find their gifts and talents to thrive within the space because their career is there, yes, but do you have the skills or refined and sharpened your skills to get you into those spaces to break those glass ceilings, which will allow for you to see within the space? So for me, I look at that C student, just because you're not doing well academically,
Mhm.
we're going to build you up with a community. We're going to help you build up your self esteem, your confidence,
Mhm.
to discover your gifts that will allow for you to uniquely be yourself, which will help you to shine in this world of people who just are robots and do the same thing over and over.
And what happens when you're in school and you start shining, your grades go, and your parents are happy? And when then you have entered, perhaps if you were good at the gaming, you got the team, you really have started to show leadership qualities, you get into the pipeline for collegiate esports. Then K through 12 pipelines right into college. Who here took that pipeline? Did anyone here was a gamer in high school and then came to college with an interest in that? All right, our three students here. Question. Danielle here specializes in K through 12. What was your first grade that you were in that perhaps a teacher, parent, or after school program leader approached you about participating in team based esports? Okay, so no grade. It
which is
was your
something we have to
friends?
change.
Hmm. What about you 2? Hmm. Got it. So we see here in this work, in this particular audience, there's a lot of professionals. We have work to do. Mhm. That we could get 3 students. Oh, they're really talented. That's why they're here with us this morning. These are the great ones that were able to organize, I'm assuming, organize yourselves with other peers, right? Did your grades go up or down once you were in a team program with your friends? Up. Sense of pride, right? When you've worked with K through 12, what did you see made students proud of being in an esports program?
Being a part of a community, being a part of something that was achieving something, and being a part of that team that, was doing big things. Whether you were getting, and, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm assuming that when you had a win, whether there were 5 people in the audience or whether there were 200 people in the audience, it made you feel good and it made you feel like you had a group of people you clicked with and that you guys did something together, right? Yeah, that's a great feeling, and so many kids don't get that feeling, especially now. There's just so many challenges and there's so many ways that students aren't connecting. And it's easier, right, to just stay at home and sit and, maybe play your Switch by yourself or something like that. But it actually takes courage and it takes a drive, like you were saying. You all are here on a Sunday morning. Like hands up for the students that are here on a Sunday morning. But that is what motivated you, and being together as a part of a group feels good. And so that's something that esports can give to students, whether they're K-12 or high ed, but a lot of other initiatives aren't necessarily doing for them.
So, again, most of the people in this room are professionals. Raise your hand if you have been in a classroom to speak to students in the last 24 months, past 2 years, past 12 months, past 6 months. Okay, then we are doing what we need to do. Now, if you didn't raise your hand, I challenge you. Find a local school. Just speak to their local program coordinator. Just call the front office and say, I'd like to come to your school assembly. I'd like to show up maybe at one of your after school programs. It doesn't take much. You don't have to run the whole program. You can come do a simple speaking engagement, have something that draws in children, and present perhaps an idea they've never thought of. So, with that, if you're presenting an idea related to scholastic esports, students haven't traditionally been exposed to, what would you say is a new idea you, Taryn, bring to the table that you could expose these students to?
So for me, I have a video background in content creation overall. So I've been doing this since 2005. So for me, really teaching students how to use these tools to not only promote themselves,
Yeah.
but use it as a way to build their brands, their particular programs that they're working on.
Mhm.
Because marketing, in my opinion, is the number one and most important thing when it comes to success of a program.
Mhm.
You can have the best pizza, but if nobody knows you have the best pizza,
Mhm.
then what's the point, you know? So really teaching students how to use these tools to be able to market themselves, their programs, and utilizing internet as a tool because it's not only just to connect and have fun, but it is a tool, a very powerful tool that can connect you to people and get you opportunities that you never imagined.
Awesome. What about you, Sergio? When you go and engage with K through 12 classrooms, what's your favorite topic to draw them in with?
I think my favorite thing to draw K through 12 students in with is probably just the overall sense of community. I think going back to that, like coming out of high school, like if you're a gamer in high school, even still to this day, you're still 9 times out of 10 ostracized, like in the general high school community. And so, leaving that area and coming into an entity like college can be very intimidating for a lot of students that are in that boat. So letting them know that there's other people that do these things, right? Seeing a high school student light up when they come into a Smash Weekly hosted at a university for the first time and see how many people share that same interest as them. And not only that, but actively engaging in it, actively have careers in it, actively are participating in other ways and being the best Smash player in the room, can do a lot for a high school student that is seeking that place and seeking that sort of sanctuary from the environment they were in high school. So I think for me, that sense of community, also the career opportunities. I think talking to parents of high schoolers, that's one of the biggest hurdles. Is why would I send my kid to your school just to play video games all day, right? And showing them the holistic approach that not only our program but programs around the country are taking right now, whether it be through competition, more creative ends like at Morgan State, or even just community based, like some of the clubs that are doing great work across the country. So I definitely think for me it's the community, but then also just the sheer amount of opportunities and careers that lie in this space.
Who here lives in a community where there's summer camps? Summer camps. Are there summer camps in your community? Here's a challenge. So I'll just uh, open. I'm a parent. My children are now 17 and 19. I am older than I look. So if you have a child that's in a summer program, what would make me, excuse me, a parent, put my child in your program? You guys are esports specialists. Why, as a parent, K through 12 parent, should I put my child in your program? But what's esports? We're talking K through 12. How do you answer that question to a parent? Parent might say, "What is esports?" He brought it up. My kid's playing video games all day. What do you say?
So I think the terminology always gets a lot of people.
Hmm.
So I say esports, aka competitive video games,
All right.
because that puts it in a different space of okay, competitive video games, so the competition piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I let them know the stats because stats are so crucial to what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially for my community that I serve. I specifically target black and brown teenagers. And when you're looking at the stats, about 84% of black teenagers play video games, but when you're looking at the game development side,
Mm-hmm.
there's only about 3 to 4%. So it's a major tech inequality right there. So that gap we're trying to make up for. And for me, we haven't had the ability to do summer camps yet, but for my mind and what I'm going to be doing through my company, Real Digitize, is offering a variety of different workshops, summer camps, et cetera, that are introducing what video games, what esports are
Mm-hmm.
the ground level things. But okay, here's what you can do within this space.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching you how to actually set up your broadcasting software because people don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
How to actually code games, providing access points directly to the top professionals within the space, the game developers, et cetera. So for me, I'm a big believer that you can only think to the level which you've been exposed to. So for me, I would be exposing to the information because that's when they're able to really let their minds cook
Mm-hmm.
and just use their imagination because we don't use our imagination as much as we should.
Mm-hmm.
But kids have that powerful ability, and when they use it for good and channel that energy, they're able to come up with something that's unimaginably great.
Awesome. So everyone in this room, that's going to be a takeaway challenge. You need to expose, perhaps via a classroom presentation, a local summer camp opportunity, children, where you are to esports. And if indeed, I love that what you said, terminology, that just saying esports could be the barrier, you are going to expose them to a new skill opportunity that is going to help what their grades go up, as well as them to make friends and engage with others and then enter perhaps a pipeline to college. Perhaps alter your presentation of the matter. Help the children see that being a competitor can build confidence. Show your local community what this is about. Now, we have Sergio here, who is an expert in collegiate, and I might know that since we work together. For you, Sergio, if you're working with college students, like we have some of our talented ones here, how do you encourage them to get involved in K through 12?
I think not letting them shy away from different experiences and what they came into our program expecting, right? Um, as Benise said, we have students, sitting in the crowd with us right now. And I think, two of them started with us as casters, one of them is a player. In no way, shape, or form did they probably think I would ever hit them up on a Saturday and say, hey, come to this high school event with me and let's go sit in the cafeteria and do a Smash tournament with high school students, right? But that's something that they were able to do, and they were able to engage with high schoolers, engage with some parents, engage with other administrators within the area, right, and show them a different side of esports than probably what they expected coming into our program. Um, I think developing students is all about putting them in situations that they might be uncomfortable with, situations that they might not have thought they would be in when they came into your program, as I said before. So I always try to make sure that my students never get comfortable. They never get comfortable in what it is they're doing and their respective roles, because there's always going to be something that we're trying to innovate, something that we're trying to do more of. And also, taking away from also giving my students a sense of service, right? And letting them know that we are in a very fortunate position at UMD. There's other collegiate programs that don't have the opportunity to have student staff, don't have the opportunity to field, five competitive teams across five titles, right? Um, and letting them know that they have work to do to pave the way for future students that are going to be in those same seats that they're in within a few years. So always approaching it with a sense of service, and letting our students know that they're obligated to that as well, because of the platform they've been given at UMD.
Thank you guys so much. So currently on time, where are we? Okay, 15 minutes left. Okay, so let's make it a power of 15 because we're here for what? What are we doing here? We're going to have games for good, right? So 15 minutes. How can we use gaming to make good scholastically? Danielle, you're a teacher. What subject in school would you be teaching you feel like you could just bring the esports right into the classroom?
Any subject, really.
Mhm.
And apologies for having to jump out. Sinus issues, and those doors are locked. So I had to go all the way around. But like, what class
Mhm.
would I do?
Mhm.
Honestly, there have been so many different opportunities. You can bring, Minecraft in and you can
Okay.
teach financials, economics, like we heard
Mhm.
yesterday. You can also teach cybersecurity and history.
Mhm.
So there's technology classes, there's history classes. Honestly, that was the thing that won me over on the Assassin's Creed games with my
Mhm.
son
Mhm.
because, he was playing, I think, Assassin's Creed 2, and they were talking about the Machiavelli family. And I was like, I didn't learn that until like college. Like,
Mhm.
this is amazing. Like, keep playing
Mhm.
this, please.
Mhm.
So there are just so many ways that you can bring gaming into the classroom.
Mhm.
I spoke yesterday about a professor in Colorado who has been teaching ethics and philosophy for like a decade with different types of games like Life is Strange and Cyberpunk and et cetera. Like, just how do you see all of these philosophies as exemplified in these games? So I think that truly the sky is the limit when bringing games into the classroom and looking at how can your students learn from playing these games. I loved Dexter's idea yesterday of a summer gaming list instead of like a summer reading list.
Mhm.
Still read. I'm still a huge reader. But maybe doing a summer gaming list in addition to that, just to get that perspective and notice that there are so many things you can learn from these games.
Awesome. So we have our K through 12 opportunity, we have students learning. You, as a collegiate specialist, you're going to come visit her classroom. What do you want to concentrate on when you visit her classroom where students are already engaged in specific games and what they're learning from?
So again, I'm always about providing new information.
Okay.
So I'm actually a 2023-24 NASEF, which stands for Network of Academic and Scholastic Esports Federations. So I'm a fellow for them. International. Oh, thank you. So international organization, and they offer a library of free resources, free curriculum for how to use games within the classroom. So definitely, I would highly recommend using some NASEF resources, because video games can be implemented in any area of the academics and within schools. And I just think that people just need to know what the possibilities are. The free also with Microsoft, they offer the free Minecraft tools for educators as well. So a lot of free tools. That's one thing I always say. Free is for me, so it is for you also. Please use them because a lot of people aren't aware of these resources. So I would bring the NASEF library to whatever school I visit. I'm like, hey, these are things that you can implement in school to help benefit the students long term.
So we have classroom teacher, we have the special guest. Now it's 11th grade, and we're going to have the college recruiter come out. What topic, based on the classroom experience, now the specialist experience, what are you going to bring to the table when you come out as the recruiter?
I think just once again reiterating like the amount of opportunity that's there, right? You know, they've spent time developing these skills already in high school and things of that nature. And that's why I always advocate for the K through 12 system, right? Because overall, the K through 12 students are having a good experience. They're developing already, starting in a lot of times middle school at this day and age. They come to our program, they already have those skill sets, you know, adapted, right? They know what they want to do. They have an idea of what the scope looks like and what the space looks like, and we're able to take that and build on it and enhance those skills and give them opportunities that they might not have had while they were in high school. Taking them to different events, ESI in DC, taking them to Xanadu to do work with the fighting game community. You know, different local opportunities that are available that are looking for students to give internships to like hotcakes, right? And so going to these schools and letting them know those opportunities that they have and that the skills that they've been learning actually mean something, and that they're not just going to school. You know, we all had a math class that we took in high school where we were like, when am I ever going to use this? And letting them know that these skills that they're developing in high school through this esports program, though it may seem like a club to them at the time, letting them know that they can actually do some real good with it, and teach the next generation coming after them and provide pathways for them, and set the standard and the example, right? Taryn gave a statistic earlier, that is only 3% of the game development community is Black or brown people, right? And letting them know that you know you have the opportunity to be the change in that, to be the people that go into these epic games, to these Activisions, and all these different companies that are putting on these AAA titles and shape what that looks like for the future. Um, so for me as a recruiter, I think my job is really just to open that door for them and let them know that this is an opportunity that you can take. We can develop you, we can give you the opportunities, and we can run with it. But you have to be the one to start developing those skills through high school and through middle school even. But as Vania said earlier, as administrators, that's our responsibility, right? Our students aren't going to bring it upon themselves in middle school to develop these intangible skills that we need for them to have when they come to our college esports programs, right? So it's up to me as a collegiate administrator, to work with people like Danielle, to work with people like Taryn, to make sure across Maryland and across the country, we're developing the K through 12 ecosystem to thus better our programs and thus increase the amount of representation, the amount of good doing within the professional and collegiate esports space, and to just make the space better overall as a whole.
Awesome, awesome. So now we have a base we're working with. We're going to leave this session and connect with our base. We're going to talk to our local teachers, our after school programs, our professional organizations. We can go out and get the kids involved. Let's challenge ourselves. Winter break's coming. We'll be relaxing with our families, perhaps traveling. Spring will come. Classes will be in session for the spring. After school programs. Call your local school and say, can I be a speaker at one of your upcoming assemblies? Remember where you'd get the certificate for your good grades? They still have those, right? Oh, right. Yeah, they used to be a big deal. Like, oh, we're going to the special assembly, and then you might get some pizza. How about that after the pizza, you're going to get to game some? You've drawn them right in, but you have the school administrator standing in the back, right? That's an opportunity for you to directly engage with those administrators who may or may not know about what could be done in their classroom, who could be coming to work with the kids, and what they could do in college. You can engage one on one, and those folks could be your allies. K through 12, no one on this stage is in classrooms 8 hours a day, but who is? The local teacher, the vice principal, the school counselor. Let's reach out to these folks, guys. You can do it, even you as a student. We have a local charter school, right? Internationally, you can do it, right? Oh, so we have some guests from Norway, just putting them on the spot a little bit. But it's really awesome that children here in a K through 12 setting can get to meet folks internationally that are doing this. But we in this professional room have to take that opportunity to the classroom. So, last power of five, guys, power of five. One thing you want this audience to take away about K through 12 scholastics.
Just one.
Just one.
Um, Never underestimate how much it could mean, even if it's just to one student, because making a difference in that one student's life can mean everything to them. So the work is always worth it if you're impacting one student's life.
So it's been said in a multitude of different ways, but be the change that you want to see.
Mm.
But with that, bring the receipts also, because people talk all day, but not that many people walk that walk. So when you have the receipts of things that you've done, programs you helped to assist, these different things you worked on, these are your receipts right there that are going to help you to gain credibility and to get buy-in from the people you're trying to build with. So always bring data because data is king.
I think for me, I think in the K through 12 space, understanding that you you can do a lot with the little, right? I think a lot of people end up thinking that they have to match collegiate programs and immediately have this fully decked out PC space with probably too many LEDs in the room, right? And they think that they have to come out the gate with that to get students engaged, right? This past years of program, Vinia has done a really good job of developing a middle school after school program with College Park Academy, one of our neighboring middle schools over here in College Park. And we've literally done this year, we've taken 5 switches over there and gave them an after school program where they're learning Smash and learning other esports intangibles like marketing, broadcasting, and things of that nature, right? We use our students to teach these people. We're working with our students to develop a curriculum, and they go and they, educate with them through the whole semester. It doesn't take much, right? You have resources. Students are okay with switches and playing Smash. That's okay. You can play just about every game or every esport these days in a cross-platform environment, right? But use the resources that you have. Everything doesn't have to be a full-fledged facility immediately. There's different things you can do to engage these students and meet them where they are, right? Because realistically, one of our students at College Park Academy in middle school is probably much more likely to have a Switch at home anyway than they are a PC at this point, right? So meeting the students where they are and understanding that you don't have to have it all figured out the moment you want to start engaging with high school students. There's other ways you could do a lot with what you have.
Well, thank you guys for attending our panel today. I hope you've enjoyed it as well as the program that'll be happening through the rest of the day. And please, offline through the hallways, if you see our panel of experts, please engage with any questions or further details you might want to know. Well, thank you guys for attending.
Thank you.